everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. Last week's was nice and short. This one's going to be a little bit longer. I got a little bit to talk about, and that doesn't even include any of the reveals at the Game Awards, which I'm just going to have to wait on. Not that there were that many that intrigued me anyway. But starting off with a quick movie review, I went to see Violent Night, and it's an odd mix of like Die Hard and Home Alone and Christmas schmaltz. It's sort of an anti-Christmas movie in that, these mercenary criminals take a wealthy family hostage and Santa comes to the rescue. But it's very much a pro-Christmas schmaltz movie, and there's a lot of magic of Christmas in it. But it isn't too bad because, as I say, it's tempered by all of the gory violence that Santa metes out to the criminals. So some of that is extremely entertaining. There's a kill near the end that I was literally laughing out loud in the theater, and I think I was the only one, but whatever. I was laughing harder than anyone in the theater. It was embarrassing, but whatever. I couldn't stop laughing. I don't know why I found it so funny, but I did. And Beverly D'Angelo as the family matriarch is just dry and perfect, and it's good fun. I'd say don't bother going to the theater, but you kind of need to because it's a Christmas movie and it's not going to be streaming until probably like February, but whatever. But it's good, but I will say that it's close to 2 hours long and the pacing is a little off. Like it doesn't maintain, and it builds momentum and then it doesn't maintain it, and then it builds it again, and it's a little stop and start. And I feel like some judicious editing could have tightened up the pace a little and made it a much more fun and entertaining movie. But it's still entertaining, and it's a good like kind of anti-Christmas but still Christmas movie. That makes sense. And then as far as gaming, I did finish God of War. I didn't expect to finish it so quickly, but the final mission didn't actually take that long, and I didn't even realize that the final battle was the final battle because it's broken up into chunks and it's very cinematic. So I was like, oh, that was the end of that? Oh, okay. Then they're like, go to Jotunheim, and I'm like, oh, I'll fight a giant in Jotunheim. That's what's going to be the big final battle. Except when you go to Jotunheim, it's all story epilogue, and that was the final battle, and Jotunheim is just the epilogue to wrap up the story and throw a couple more reveals in as you go to the top of the tallest peak to scatter your wife's ashes, which I totally forgot was the plot of the game, because that's how it started, and then it became so complicated, and then you were like, oh, it's not this peak, we have to go to Jotunheim, that's the highest peak in all the realms, and then it became a whole other thing. And, I'd forgotten that was the point, was you were literally going to scatter your wife's ashes, and it became a whole adventure. So after that, the credits rolled, and then they're like, okay, you can go and do whatever else you want to do in the world, because, there's all this stuff that I haven't done, like, the 2 optional realms and, freeing the corrupted Valkyries and whatever. And then there's a whole bunch of other things that I never finished, like all the treasure maps and the artifacts and the whatever, the lore. And I was just like, I'm not really inclined to do that because, like finding the last treasure map and that kind of stuff. Like if there's a treasure map that I missed somewhere in the world, I have to go look up online where it is and then go find it. And it just becomes tedious and it's not fun. And then all the optional worlds and fighting the Valkyries, I'm like, that doesn't appeal to me because it's just fighting. There's not really a story reason to do it. So I'm like, eh. And I'm not a trophy hunter, so I didn't care about finishing stuff up to get trophies and 100%ing the game. I don't care about such things because usually having to do those kinds of things to 100% a game, it becomes very tedious and annoying, and then the game isn't fun, and I feel like games should be fun. So I'm just like, whatever, I don't care if I get all the trophies, I'm done. So I wrapped up God of War, and then I saw that there was a new free content update for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So I said, and it's the final chapter, the end of Eivor's saga. And I said, oh, that'll be nice. I'll just go download that and play through that. But when I went to do that, there were a bunch of free content updates that I just never got around to because they had been releasing stuff, and I was like, oh, let me just check those out before I do the ending. And the first one I did, some people had attacked Ravensthorpe, so you go to find out who attacked you, and that introduces you to Roshan, who is a character from Assassin's Creed Mirage. So a little cross promotion there to help sell the new game. That was cute. They did go a little far, but then they didn't actually go as far as to say, "Buy Assassin's Creed Mirage coming soon." But it was a cute little mission. It was very short. You basically just infiltrate, enemy headquarters and find the assassination moment to kill and assassinate the big bad guy. And that was actually a little difficult because there were too many enemies around, and you're supposed to like sneak in wearing and blending in. But it was so annoying to have to keep blending in, and they'd always catch me, and I'd always have to kill them, and it was like super annoying. And then it was really hard to get the way that they laid out the enemy encampment. It was really difficult to sneak your way to the assassination point. So I was like, ugh. So I had to stop and save and restart a few times before I could finally get to the assassination. And it was delicious and cinematic and fun. And I am kind of looking forward to Assassin's Creed Mirage. Maybe. We'll see how it comes out. Then there was one where this guy builds his workshop, and he can build things for you that you see in dreams, and you have to drink one of Valka's potions. And I was like, I don't know about that one, because that means you go to like Asgard and you play as Odin, and it's a whole thing. And I was like, meh. So I checked online to see what other content there was that I needed to keep an eye out for. And this one, it turns out that it is that you go and you play as Odin, and you like basically explore as far as you can until you die, and then you start over, and it's a whole roguelike thing, and you just do whatever. And I was just like, I know roguelikes are the big hot new genre right now. It's not one of my favorites, so I wasn't inclined to play that. Then there was another one where there's a woman who's like, oh, please help us. Everybody on our island is like going crazy because they are having nightmares. Please help us. So you go to the Isle of Skye, and that turned out to be the crossover where you meet Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And that one was pretty good though, because that was like, there's a whole island to explore, and there's a multiple sectioned quest, and then there's also like mysteries and treasures and artifacts to find and whatever. So that one was good. It wasn't as expansive as paid DLC because this was free, but for free it was pretty substantial, I thought, for free. I didn't end up getting all the wealth because there's no trophy, and like I said, I'm not a trophy hunter, so I don't care. I did get the mysteries and the artifacts just so I could have the full set of the Eagle Bearer tattoo, and then also to get the mysteries so I wouldn't miss any little side stories. They weren't much of anything, but I just want to make sure that I got them all. But I didn't care about the wealth because what do I care? I'm done. And then after that, I finally finished that, and then I was able to do the final chapter. The problem with the final chapter was that it was weird because I wanted to see a goodbye. I wanted to see Eivor say goodbye to his friends and everybody. And he sort of does that, but it's done in a very weird way where like he goes and he starts talking to Odin, except that Odin was my character Eivor, and there was the female Eivor was the Eivor, and I'm just like, what is happening right now? This is weird. And then all of a sudden, frickin' Basim shows up dressed in his modern day Loki crap, and I'm like, ugh. And it turns out it's a whole animus thing, and he's viewing it, and then you basically, as Eivor, go to different locations to activate memories that Basim watches, and then you get your little cinemas where he says goodbye, and you get a little wrap up of everything. And I just wish it had been the actual wrap up of going to the locations and doing things. Also, he's wearing this weird ass like peacock feather outfit that I'm like, what am I wearing? It's hideous and I don't like it. And I don't remember if there was a story reason for it from before because they didn't explain it now. He's just wearing it. And all of the goodbyes were fine. But then you've got frickin' Basim being all like, interesting. And then it brings in the whole real world thing, and then you end up in the real world. And it's just like, what? I don't want to be in the real world. I hate the real world. Every time I play an Assassin's Creed game, anytime they return to the real world, I get annoyed. I just want to stay in the past and have the adventure. I don't care about the modern day plotline, or the future day plotline, I guess. So it's sort of irritating, but whatever. You have to deal with it. But then that was the end of that. So I've wrapped up Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I feel like that is put to bed. And then there was a slight interruption while I was finishing it, like in between Isle of Skye and the final chapter, because I saw there was a notification on my PlayStation home screen that there was a demo for Season, A Letter to the Future, which I have spoken about in previous episode. I know, because I'd seen a trailer and I was like, ooh, this looks really cool. This is totally up my alley. It's like this chill, like, adventure game where you, like, walk around and you just, like, record memories of the past because the world is dying or something. And I'm like, this is totally up my alley. So the fact that there was a demo, I was like, let me check out this demo to see if it is as much up my alley as I think it is. And it totally is. The demo was too short. Of course, all good demos are too short because it leaves you wanting more. And you basically just walk around. There's no one else around. It's just you, and you walk around the night, the morning after, like a big celebration as you're about to leave on your adventure, and you collect memories and you arrange them in a scrapbook. The game does say that the demo drops you into chapter 3 because I think 1 and 2 are like more story based, and 3 is where you start using your tools, which is your camera and your tape recorder, in order to create and record these memories to put in your scrapbook for all time. And the only thing that I thought was a little odd was they weren't exactly clear about creating the scrapbook, like as far as like where, like one point there was like 3 murals that I had to get photographs of, and they were very clearly, they go in these 3 specific places. But the rest of them, it's like, oh, you can take this recording and put it here, you can put this here, you can put that there, and you can arrange it. And then after you finish, they give you like little decorations that you can add little doodles and whatever, and little quotes and things. And it wasn't really clear. Like, I'm like, I had too many memories. They wouldn't all fit on the page. And I'm like, can you overlap? Is there some memory I'm not supposed to do? Is there a certain order I'm supposed to put these in? I'm just sort of winging it. But it does appear that you're just supposed to wing it, and it's fine. And you just put them all in, and then you get a little inspiration, which is like a little final memory of the place, and it ties it all together and whatever. And it's just lovely, and it's just, the music, the soundtrack is just very soothing, and it's all very like relaxing. It's all very zen, and you take pictures, and the graphics are gorgeous, and you pick a bicycle, and then you head out on your bicycle to start your adventure recording memories around whatever, the land. And that is, unfortunately, as you're riding down on your bicycle and the sun is rising, and it's like, is so gorgeous. And then they're like, thank you for playing our demo. And I was like, no, I want more. But I have to wait until January 31st for that. I am totally pre-ordering this. That is a definite buy. I just have to find something to fill my time to January 31st. Something that'll take about a month and a half to play. There is also a demo for Forspoken, which I thought had a really cool trailer, and I was curious about. It's PS5 exclusive, timed exclusive. So I downloaded that demo, started it, but I haven't really formed an opinion of it yet, so I don't know if that's a buy. But that's coming out on January 24th, so that's definitely not happening. If anything, like, because Season is first. So I'm not going to play that for like a week and then play Season and then go back to it. No, I would get Season, and then maybe later, after I finish Season, then I might get Forspoken. But it also depends on if I like the demo, and then what the reviews are like, whether or not I get it or not. We'll see. So come back next episode, and I will talk about my opinions of the Forspoken demo, and I will reveal what I am doing to pass the time until Season comes out on January 31st. See you then. Bye!